Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Hiya, listeners, and welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast. My name is Matt. I'm one of your hosts. I like movies. I like Star Wars. I like comic books. I like photography. And I like drinking. Life story, done. With me, as always, my good buddy, the breeder himself, Mysterious Mike Talent.
Hey, everybody. I don't know about all that, Matt, but thanks for the intro. And, I'm excited to review the movie that we're talking about.
What do you mean, all about what?
All your short synopsis.
Of me
Your
of you?
Yeah. No, both of your photography and drinking and all that.
Oh, Is it because I left out that I'm not a breeder?
I guess. Sure.
Okay, so Matt, not breeder, Mike, breeder.
Yes, those are the official, terms.
Okay, perfect. So welcome, everyone. Real Film Nerds podcast episode number 207 was my pick. This is a movie that came out in the theaters in November. No one went and saw it. I didn't even know it came out. Stars Vince Vaughn from Blumhouse, called Freaky. Mike, let's see if you can pronounce their names.
All right, man. Well, thank you. So this movie was directed by Christopher Landon, and it was written by Michael Kennedy and Christopher Landon. It's starring Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton, Celeste O'Connor, Emily Holder, and it's after swapping bodies with a deranged serial killer, a young girl in high school discovers she has less than 24 hours before the change becomes permanent.
Well, okay, Mike. So it's a horror movie. It's a trope that's like The Parent Trap, but with a serial killer. How'd they do?
I thought I might like this because this has got the guy involved, Christopher Landon, who worked on the Happy Death Day. And yeah, I like this one quite a bit. It was fun.
It's not the world's best movie, but I enjoyed myself. The entertainment value of this movie is definitely high, especially Mr. Vince Vaughn playing a 16-year-old girl, I think. I'm going with 16 because her friends were driving cars, so I'm going with 16.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they ever said their age, 16 or 17, something like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. So it was fun. Catherine Newton, I think, did a really good job. She didn't do spectacular. It's hard to one-up Vince Vaughn, but for being a fairly well unknown, she's done pretty good. I mean, she's been in a couple films. She was in 3 Billboards, and she was in Blockers, and she was in the HBO show Big Little Lies, but she's still fairly unknown. I thought she did okay. She wasn't as evil and sadistic and didn't have as much fun being a serial killer as I thought she could have had, but she didn't do a bad job. She had some pretty good scenes where she was playing the serial killer that, I think she hit it out of the park, but I think she just could have had more fun. But anyways, Mike, thoughts?
Yeah, I liked her role. I liked her as the serial killer. I thought she was, what a fun role this is. It's like you play kind of a teenager stuck in like the teenager high school drama stuff that we've seen so many times, and then all of a sudden you get to do the whole serial killer thing, and like at first it's like, how am I going to use this body? But then it was cool. Like she was coming up with creative ways to overcome not being Vince Vaughn, because Vince Vaughn was, what is he, like 6'4", 200 and something pounds, and he goes into like a 5'5", like 100-pound, woman, and just he has a little bit of issues trying to like overpower people and do that. I kind of like that aspect of the movie, you know, because it wouldn't just be exactly the same, you know.
Well, that's one thing that is good is that she didn't do a Vince Vaughn impression. Like, she was trying to be the serial killer, and I think she was successful at that. And that's one that, for me, being a fan of Vince Vaughn, I didn't really find believable really at all, was Vince Vaughn as a serial killer. It didn't work for me.
I think that's part of the reason he's in The Mask a lot. But I thought that was fun. I liked him in The Mask because, you know, it's similar to other movies like Friday the 13th, and they definitely pulled out some stops in this movie, so that was kind of fun to see too in this movie. Just it took itself not too seriously, and I like that about it. It was well done.
Well, Mike, we can get into it in spoilers, but though that first, I guess I'll just say the serial killer murder scene, because it was multiple murders before you even really start getting the title card. A lot of those murders were clearly homages or call-outs to past horror movies. And we can get into that in the spoilers. I won't do it here. But yes, the mask for that whole first murder, I don't know, whatever, really worked out well. It was later on when he's trying to murder people towards the end of the movie, and then when he goes after our protagonist, Catherine Newton, he doesn't have his mask on. It's just Vince Vaughn, and I'm just waiting for him to, you know, say something silly or do something goofy, and it just, you know, doesn't work out.
All right, so that fell flat for you.
Well, it's Vince Vaughn. He's not known for doing serious roles, let alone being a serial killer. That's all.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's part of the fun of this movie is he was branching out. I know it's kind of a cheaper or budget horror movie, but, you know, I think it was kind of fun for him.
Oh, yeah, I think he had a blast, but I don't want to hate on him. It's just he's developed his niche and his genre, and that's just what I'm used to seeing over and over and over again.
Okay. All right. I see. Matt, earlier I teased this last week, man. What do you think of Vince Vaughn's version of a high school girl versus Jack Black's version of a high school girl in Jumanji? The recent, not the recent, Welcome to the Jungle. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
There you go. You got it. It took a minute, but you got it. I think if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Jack Black's better, just because of the kind of girl and the impression he's doing and how over the top Jack Black is. I think Vince Vaughn matched more of a normal teenage girl in this film. I love dude, I don't want to spoil it, but there's one scene in the back of a car with Vince Vaughn that was just incredible, and he knocked it out of the park. He did a really, really good job. And his not star, but the actor that played against him in that did a really good job. And that must have been so much fun. I would love to see the behind the scenes from that scene. I think it would be great.
Yeah, I also there's a kind of a earlier scene, without spoiling it too much, where there's some dancing involved, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a well done scene.
Okay, Mike, so I think it's time for you to do your job, because we can't not spoil this movie. We keep talking about, without spoiling it, we got to stop doing that shit.
Okay. All right, Matt. So, what are you drinking this evening, Matt?
Well, Mike, I am celebrating. I closed the biggest deal I've closed to date yesterday, and I dropped the keys off today. So I'm celebrating with a little champagne.
Oh, the High Life?
The champagne of beers. Damn right. You know I celebrate.
Oh, that's nice, Matt. That's nice. It's exciting. And, you know, that's what the High Life's all about.
It is. So I closed on a deal that was so much I could go out and buy literally a 12-pack of beer that's, I think, $12.
Man, it's getting expensive.
I know, I'm crazy. I'm almost up to your level of buying $12 like individual beers of the IPA world.
Yeah, speaking of $12 individual IPA beers, this one's a little bit pricey. This one I'm drinking today, it's Hop Slam. It is by Bell's Brewery out of Comstock, Michigan.
So the shipping is what really did it to you on that one.
No, it's just a hop mania beer. You know, it's like a triple IPA, and it's quite strong. It's 10%.
So basically, for me, it's absolute trash.
Yeah, I think if you smelled it, Matt, you would vomit.
I don't know about vomiting. Well, you know why I don't like IPAs, because they're bitter. They don't make me sick. I just don't like the taste of them.
Well, just smelling this amount of hops, you would just be like, you would just retch a little bit, because it's you would feel like you tasted the bitter just off of the smell.
Now, Mike, are you calling me a little bitch?
I am not. That is my role, and that's where I ride, right? You know?
That's true.
On the motorcycle?
You do
on
ride
Mag's
bitch.
motorcycle?
Yeah, right. And I got to remember that. I got to put a Post-it note at my desk. Order Mike the bitch fell off shirt. Or no, order Mags for Mike the bitch fell off shirt, if you can read this. I got to get that. That's Christmas this year.
All right, man. She's going to call you out if you don't do it. She listened to that episode and was like, he better send me that shirt.
Well, the issue is I need to know what size shirt she wears. So, Max, if you want to text that to me, please feel free. I'm not one to ask, and I don't want to over order or under over, because I know when it comes to the flea mails, if I go one way versus the other, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get, punished, most likely verbally.
True. I don't know if you have if you like that other kind of punishment, Matt. Are you into that whipping and all that stuff? You know, that 50 Shades of Cuban zirconia. No, 50 Shades of Grey. Popularized, I guess, a little bit into the pop culture. I mean, it's always been around, but
Mike, I don't know if I should disclose that on the podcast. That might be a little too far.
Oh, that's the line? Okay. Found it.
That's the line. If I'm into S&M or not.
Okay. All right. I found it. Matt has to plead the fifth. Got it.
I am not pleading the fifth whatsoever. I am not admitting anything, nor am I denying anything. I'm just saying, Mike, that might be a little too personal for our listeners' ears, especially yours.
All right. Gotcha.
So, speaking of punishment, Mike, how does Freaky relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Ooh, man, that was pretty good, dude. That was a good segue.
Punishment, Punisher.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. Thanks.
Good. I'm just explaining it for people that don't listen or care about Marvel, all right?
All right, Matt. Well, thank you for asking. This MCU tie-in was a little bit harder to find. It's not a huge cast, but I was able to find somebody. Jessica Craig is a makeup artist on Freaky and also worked as a makeup artist on Black Panther.
See, Mike, it wasn't that hard.
Well, I mean, when you get down to the makeup artist, I'm kind of running out of people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's your job, so I don't know how far down that is, the totem pole.
It's a little bit ways down there in the cast. It's towards the end.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, Mike, so we are now in our spoiler neck of the woods. That scene that I was discussing earlier when Vince Vaughn and the dude kiss was absolutely hilarious. And I was sitting there in anticipation. I was like, oh, he's going to do it. He's going to kiss Vince Vaughn. I want to see that. I want to see the behind the scenes, because I bet you it took him like 200 takes to do it.
I loved it. It was fun. It was awkward and weird, but well done. Like, I liked it a lot. Like, I think they did do that really well. I really like the dancing scene with Vince Vaughn. It actually reminded me a little bit of his old school, but where he was just dancing to mimic the cheers, because she was like the
she was the mascot, the beaver.
Mascot. Yeah.
She was the giant beaver.
Yeah, the one that they what did the footballs, the only beaver that we don't ever want to be with, or whatever, or something like that.
Something really messed up. Yeah, the football.
It was
players.
really bad. It was really bad.
Yeah. Well, that whole kissing scene was great because they did it so well. I mean, Vince Vaughn played exactly like a teenage girl that has never been kissed or is getting like her first kiss from this boy she really, really likes. I mean, it was just the little mannerisms and the way he like sits and holds him. I mean, it was just spot on. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was great. I enjoyed this movie. Christopher Landon, I don't know, he has something going. I enjoy his movies. They just flow well to me, and I don't know. It's just kind of fun. The making fun of, or maybe not making fun of, but the homage to Friday the 13th kind of in the beginning with Vince Vaughn and the mask. Like, I mean, to me, it was very hockey mask-ish.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and a lot of those murders of those kids in that house were from like horror movies. Like the last girl where he picks up and jams on like a stake that's on the wall or whatever the hell that was on the wall. That's straight up Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. There was several scenes in the movie that were kind of throwbacks to other horror movies, and I liked it. I thought they all came off pretty well. I'm trying to think of another one real quick, but the Matt, what did you think about the awkward Aaron Rodgers mask?
I don't know how to take that. I mean, you would think it would be kind of weird him wearing that, walking around in public, and people be like, "Who the F is that dude?" But I understand why they were doing it. Maybe they should have gotten a hat and sunglasses. And, in today's COVID world, I mean, you put a mask on and shit, you can rob pretty much anything.
That's true. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. I wondered if they had to get permission from Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how that works. Like, as far as like his likeness, if it was just a mask, if you could buy it off the shelf, maybe you could use it. I don't know.
I'm not sure because it still is his likeness, and it's in another, I mean, they say it's him. So they had to have gotten something from him, or they had to have gotten permission, or maybe they kicked him some cat. I don't know. They did something. He wouldn't have just given it up for nothing.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of scenes in this where he's like kind of chasing people in like the dark or just the streets, like kind of when he runs into our character. Was it Millie, who's played by Catherine Newton, and I liked how he like just kind of did the whole stalkery walk and all the like just Halloweenish, Mike Myers kind of thing. Like there's so many good horror movies, like the frozen body that was in this. That was interesting. Like the body that shattered.
Yeah, but that was completely unbelievable. Why the hell would they ever have anything like that in a high school, let alone have it unattended in the gym of all places?
I was wondering a little bit about it, but you suspend belief,
Well, I had to do that many times with the person I was watching the film with, and she was getting upset, and I was like, well, it is a movie, and you just have to suspend disbelief on several things because it's a movie, and it's a horror movie, and it had a pretty good production value compared to most horror movies, and it wasn't silly and zany like a lot of them. It was decent. They tried hard, much like Happy Death Day.
The chainsaw scene. I mean, there's just throwbacks to all kinds of different horror movies with like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I could, you could just there's just so many different ones in this. I thought it was fun.
All right, you want to hear my biggest issue with this movie, Mike?
All right, go for it,
Are
man.
you sure? Are you prepared?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
You're usually the ones that's harsh, so I'm surprised you don't have any issues yet. So, all right, here you go. The biggest issue I have is the lead character, Millie, played by Catherine Newton, is straight up, she's all that. So she messes up her hair and wears crappy clothing. And so this young, attractive woman then, when transforms into the serial killer in her body, puts on clothes, does her hair, and looks hot, and all of a sudden is the most popular person in school. It's straight up, she's all that. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Why can't it just be a normal effing person? Why does it have to be, oh, well, she's this recluse and nobody likes her and she's stupid because she looks ugly and doesn't do her hair. And then, oh, she did her hair and she's wearing a leather jacket. She's hot now. I can talk to her.
That's some of the suspending disbelief stuff. I just was like, whatever. She wasn't before, though. Like when she was walking around in high school, she was still really good looking. Like I don't know. Like I feel like it wasn't a huge transformation.
I just don't buy the shit that everyone is picking on her and hazing her and hating her. Women and boys, you know, the football players and the girl. I don't buy that shit whatsoever, because high school is completely about the way you look. I know I look terrible, and you know, I had a horrible high school experience.
Dude, your high school wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't that bad.
I mean, yeah, you had stuff. I mean, we all had stuff. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I just drank it away on the weekends.
Yeah, for sure. Just banged it out.
Yep, with giant bonfires, Border Patrol rolling up on us, kegers, cops. Anyways, all right. Hold on. Are we past like the statute of limitations on a lot of that stuff? Probably.
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right. Well, we're going to slowly back away, Mike. Just back away.
All right.
All right. So, Mike, your turn to talk more. What more do you want to talk about this movie?
I don't know, man. These movies are fun. I mean, it's you know, I was telling Max, she was like, "Did you like the movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I liked it." You know, it's pretty much just a comedy movie with some gratuitous gore thrown in.
That's one of the great parts, man, is about the horror movies. I mean, the murders. Let's talk about the murders. The murders were freaking over the top wonderful. It was totally horror movie. That first one right off the bat with the wine bottle, and he shoves it down his throat and then he punches it and the glass all breaks out and the wine pour. I mean, come on. It's so awesome.
All right. That was interesting. I like the saw the person in half right down the middle. Like that was pretty cool. But the thing that was really weird about that scene, man, she didn't have a drop of blood on her.
She was wearing a red leather jacket, Mike. It was all in the jacket. Come on.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
My question is, what shop class? I mean, you know, schools don't have shop class anymore anyways, but what shop class when we were in school, when we had shop, would have a giant saw like that sitting on the ground at that perfect height to throw someone on and cut? I mean, that giant table saw blade is for splitting trees. It's not for like doing shit in shop. It's huge.
Well, we did have that one kid cut his hand off in shop, remember, or cut it in half. He just went.
It wasn't his hand. It was his. He cut his fingers
hand,
off,
dude.
wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was like part of his finger. Like basically, he just kept going on the wood right over the blade, and yeah, he cut off like at a weird angle because he was holding the wood, and he cut off a bunch of his fingers. And I think they sewed everything back together and stuff, but he lost some feeling,
Movement.
and some movement. Yeah.
That was 8th grade though, wasn't it? I don't think that was high school.
No, dude, that was
it
high school.
God, who cut their fingers off in high school in 8th grade? Someone lost something in 8th grade. I don't remember.
I think someone. I don't know if that was just a story. I remember in woodshop, our woodshop teacher told us about how a girl had long hair and didn't have it tied back, and was using the drill press, and well, she kind of scalped herself.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah, but that was before.
But I think that was before,
that was before
we were
our
in
time.
school.
Shit, I don't. Maybe I'm getting it confused with 8th grade and high school. Anyways, yeah, I remember the story. I remember the kid too. Anyways,
I didn't know the kid, but I mean, he was infamous after that. I remember.
So is that why they got rid of shop in schools, Mike, or do you think it's just another product of kids having to just learn and sit in a classroom?
I think it was just the budget. Like I know the shop and like all those. No, what do they call them, Matt? Extracurricular? No, what do they call?
No, extracurriculars,
like
correct?
Photo and like auto shop and wood shop and
in
all those kind of like vocational.
Right in high school they called it VICA. It was the vocational training, because a lot of that stuff, not so much photography anymore, or probably press. Automotive, though, is those are classes you could take where when you graduate high school, you could go and actually start practicing in that field. And so those were vocational classes.
Yeah. I think all that vocational stuff costs quite a bit, and because of the requirements for equipment or just materials and different things, I think it's just all gone away, man. I mean, I don't even think art and a lot of things are not funded anymore. I mean, pretty soon you'll be able to like take PE like virtually. You're like, I'm running that mile.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Zoom background. I'm running hard. Wait, why is it at the Eiffel Tower? That's weird.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just costing too much. I don't know. And we probably need more vocational people than ever now, because not everyone's going to go to college. And I don't know why why. I think when we were growing up, they really, really pushed it hard. And I think they continue to push it.
It was the baby boomer generation that pushed it on their kids, which is pretty much our parents. And that's what was shoved down their throats for us. And now you see the fallout. They don't have enough people to do plumbing, carpentry, building houses, cement, you name it. I mean, my nephew, I applaud him. I think he chose wisely and he loves it. Luckily, he loves it. He's a welder. He makes more money than I do, and he's dramatically younger and has been doing it a lot less. But he loves it. You know, he loves welding. He loves working on cars too, but he loves his vocation.
Yeah. I mean, HVAC, there's all kinds of things that are still need. I mean, everyone's going to need air conditioning and heating. Like that's just going to, but I feel like there's a lot of just gaps forming.
Well, and the other issue, Mike, in schools, in my opinion, and people have talked about it, is there's two different ways of thinking. You have the creative side and the hands-on side, and then you have the analytical side. And you got to have a good mix of both, because that makes you a better, well-rounded person when it comes to doing things around your house, when it comes to socializing, when it comes to hobbies and sports and all that stuff. And when you take away one and focus on the other, then you start getting a generation where people can't talk to each other and they can't do simple things like changing a doorknob or a flat tire. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm a big believer in doing things for yourself. And if you can't do it, then you call a professional. But that's my opinion. So, all right, I'll get off that.
Okay. All right, man. But yeah, I do know there's not very many people know how to work on their cars or even know what to look for if things are broken. The troubleshooting is like zero. They got nothing. They're like, the light's on. And that's all I got. The light's on.
Well,
the engine light.
I got one, and hopefully she doesn't slam me for it if she listens to this, is Mags, your wife. One of the times when I was there, I think it was right after she moved in. I don't think you guys were married yet. And she was building shelves in the garage. Not you.
Yes.
She was. She wouldn't let you touch that shit. She was doing it. And I was like, man, dude, she's definitely a keeper because she likes working with her hands. I mean, Tell me how many, I don't want to say women, but how many people, we'll just go with people, that would even attempt that today. No, they just go and fucking buy something at Home Depot or Walmart.
Yeah, Mags does definitely like to build and do different things. She uses her hands. She loves power tools, all the things. So she took wood shop when she was growing up. So she knows the things.
I'm just saying, and she's well-rounded on that kind of stuff. And I think that's a very important part of any young person's life. Even if it's simple shop, even if it's simple automotive stuff, I think it makes a huge difference. But I digress. Mike, go ahead. Let's get into it. How many reels do you give Freaky?
I'm going to give Freaky 3.5 reels. Like I said, man, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. The high school stuff I could live without, but it lends itself to quite a bit of stuff, so it made sense.
Wow. I think it's hilarious when you say, oh, I loved it. I only give it 3.5 reels. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, dude, you don't get those 4s easy out of me.
Clearly, we don't get anything out of you very easily, Mike.
I think that's a good thing, man.
All right, well, I give Freaky 3.5 reels because I thought it was good. I thought it was a little bit above average, but I didn't think it was incredible. Unlike Happy Death Day, I think Happy Death Day was better, and it was just because it was unique in its own form. But Vince Vaughn did great. I think most of the cast did great. The cinematography was well done. It's an entertaining movie. It's definitely well worth a watch. Now, should you spend money on it? Probably not. Wait till it comes out on a streaming service. But it's well worth a watch, especially if you like horror movies. And it's a great horror comedy, and we don't have enough horror comedies.
No, we don't. And this is a great one. I think this is going to keep coming out of this team of Christopher Landon and Blumhouse.
All right, Mike. So here's the real question. Since hopefully you figured it out, I've been asking for 2 days. Mike, what movie are you picking for next week?
Oh, man, I had to choose. No, I'm just kidding. So, Matt, I think we're going to do another sci-fi movie. This one caught my interest. It's Outside the Wire, the Netflix original.
Now, is that the one I was talking about that has the dude that's Falcon with the drone?
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping we were going to do that movie. I was really looking forward to doing that. And so people can find that streaming on Netflix. Do you have a little bit of information, Mike?
No. I read the synopsis, but I don't have it right now. Hold on. I can.
Well, I mean, that's up to you if you want to, or we can just tell people that it's currently streaming on Netflix. So go steal your mom and dad's Netflix account password, log in, and watch it with us.
In the near future, a drone pilot sent into a war zone finds himself paired with a top-secret android officer on a mission to stop a nuclear attack. Sounds like gold to me.
Hell yeah, it does. Well, all right, Mike. You know what? I haven't mentioned this in a while. I'll go ahead and throw it out there. Make sure and keep listening all the way to the end of the podcast because my interview with Lisa Live and Local, where I discussed the Super Bowl more than I did this movie, will be on, especially the Weeknd, who decided to have backup dancers dressed as people from Us with jockstraps on their heads.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, listen for that. That's definitely interesting. Matt, did you even watch the sports ball finale?
Oh, yeah, I did. I was over at the girlfriend's parents' house, and they had a big hoop to do. They're all about the foosball and getting together on Sunday, and especially for the Super Bowl. So we ate, we drank, and we watched the foosball. It was going on 4 different TVs.
Excellent. Every angle.
And Dolby Atmos.
Awesome.
It was good. It was good. So I really didn't have a bear in the fight, who was it? The coach from Tampa Bay is the former Cardinals coach. So there was that. But other than that, I didn't really have a team. I was just watching the game.
Yeah, me neither. No, my team they had a terrible season, so we don't talk about that.
It's okay, Mike. It's okay. Not everyone in the world even knows that Jacksonville has a football team.
I agree. That is a true statement.
Well, all right, Mike, I think I've talked enough. I need to finish my beer.
Okay, man. You finish your beer. I'll finish my beer. Everybody, thanks for listening, and make sure you can stream some movies, or if you feel safe, go watch a movie at the theater. We need those guys to survive. We really miss them. We can't wait until this vaccine or whatever stuff goes away and things can get a little bit normalish. I don't know if that's still going to be a thing, but I hope so. Anyway, thanks for listening. And, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. And, catch us next week. Outside the Wire.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.
I've got him on the line. It's Matt Hinshaw from the Real Film Nerds podcast on Magic 99.1. How you doing, Matty?
Wait, so I'm not the ninth caller and I don't get Bon Jovi tickets?
Actually, we're looking for the third caller for a dozen donuts from Outlaw Donuts coming up.
No Bon Jovi then.
No Bon Jovi. Nope. How you doing, Matt?
I'm okay. How are you this morning, Lisa?
I'm doing okay as well. A little tired, I mean, the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday is always a rough one.
Yeah, too many margaritas and wings?
Maybe, maybe not. I'll never tell. But I did have to watch my team get demolished by Tom Brady and the boys.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, technically you didn't have a team in the game because you're a Cardinals fan,
You're
right?
You're right. So, but I'm thinking you saw Freaky over the weekend, or at least last week, and I want to hear all about it.
Well, I still want to talk about this Super Bowl and the dudes that were dressed up as the characters from Us with the jock straps on their face. What was up with that?
It was a little odd to... Yeah, I thought they looked like jock straps too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It was a great performance, but that was definitely one of the more interesting Super Bowl halftime shows I've ever seen.
Right, yeah. Well, art is subjective, Matt, so, you kind of read into it what you want.
I think he was just teasing us with a sequel to the movie Us.
There you go.
So hopefully we'll get that this summer.
I love it. All right, let's talk about Freaky. What do you think?
Speaking of horror movies, yes. Right. I watched Freaky this weekend. It came out in November. It is starring Vince Vaughn and what's her name? Catherine Newton. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There were some tropes in it that I wasn't a huge fan of, like Catherine Newton plays the teenage girl. And it's a lot of, like, I don't know if you ever saw it in the 90s called She's All That, where there's this young, attractive woman playing an ugly person. That's how it starts out, and it just doesn't work. But I watched it for Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was the reason to watch it, and it was worth it. He was hilarious as a 16-year-old girl, as always.
I can only imagine. I love Vince Vaughn.
The story was okay.
Yeah.
The story was okay. It could have been better. It could have been worse. I'd say it's not one to rush out and spend money on renting. I'd say wait until it's on a streaming service of some kind, be it Netflix, HBO Max, or any of the other new ones they announced during the Super Bowl yesterday.
Right. How many streaming services do you subscribe to right now?
Way too many. My favorite go-tos are Netflix, of course, and I like Hulu for my TV.
Right.
But surprisingly, HBO Max has a lot on it, and I watch a lot of HBO Max. It's probably the second most watched platform for me.
Right.
And then, being a hardcore Star Wars nerd, I have to have Disney Plus. I just have to. I can't miss The Mandalorian.
All right, that's one that I don't have.
Those are what I subscribe to.
Yeah, and then you probably also have Prime Video on Amazon too, right?
Yeah, just because I am a Prime member, and
Right.
I've been a Prime member for years. So,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
I don't really watch it much unless there's like an Amazon original or I bought something through them. Sometimes they have some good stuff, but I find that they don't have as much content as the rest of them.
Right. I agree with you 100%. But you know what? I bought 3 seasons of Yellowstone, and it cost me $60.
Wow. Holy cow.
On top of all the streaming services that I have and I pay for every month as well. So something is wrong here.
Yeah, well, honestly, I was having this discussion yesterday when Paramount Plus kept popping on during
Yeah,
the Super Bowl. I
right.
was like, great, now we're all going to be paying twice what we were paying if we would have just stayed with cable.
I know. It's a nightmare. Absolutely. All right, back to Freaky. How many reels you going to give it?
I give it 3.5.
3.5 reels.
Okay.
You guys can catch Matt on his podcast. It's called The Real Film Nerds. Thank you for chatting with me this morning, Maddie.
Always. Thanks for having me on again, Lisa.
Thank you.